Oh, good afternoon, and welcome to the Friends of Wheeling Tour for May the 2nd, 2026. We are at 650 Main Street, which is the site of the Vigilant Firehouse. And before we talk about it, I'd like to say a few announcements that are coming up. If you have looked at the weekend newspaper yet today, here's the first of a series of 4 articles for Historic Preservation Month. May is Historic Preservation Month. So we can all celebrate that. So watch for those.
And some of us are pretty well preserved.
Some of us are very well preserved, thank you. Others not so much. But this will be the first of a series of 4. So watch for each weekend for the remaining 3. And I'm going to give that to you. And a couple other announcements. Tomorrow is a bicycle tour. Family-focused, very easy tour that will start at Center Market at 1 o'clock, and we'll go north, cross the suspension bridge, go around the bottom end of the island, back across the suspension bridge, and back to Center Market. So it's not very, challenging. It's free, and you get a free little string backpack if you would like to join us. That's 1 o'clock tomorrow, and it has a little bit of a history bent that we will stop at a couple places and talk about some historic sites as we do that. Then next Saturday between 1 and 3 will be the second of a series of cemetery cleanups in the publicly owned cemeteries in Wheeling. That will be at Stone Church Cemetery between 1 and 3 next Saturday. No experience is necessary. If you have some tools and gloves, bring those, but we'll have enough to share in that time. And this is just a cleanup. This is not a monument resetting, but a cleanup so that we can assess what needs to be done down the road as far as monument work. The third in that series will be on Sunday, May 17th from 1 to 3 at Mount Wood Cemetery. So those are exciting things coming up. As I said, this is a Friends of Wheeling tour. And if you are not a member of Friends of Wheeling, you can find more information using our QR code. We're trying to get into the current technology, even though we are preserved, as Chuck says. So, any other announcements? Anything I've missed? So we'll talk about this building. This building was built in 1891-92. This is a replacement for another firehouse that was here on this site that burned. The National Register nomination for North Wheeling, which was written about 100 years later in 1988, describes it as a building that is constructed of brick, consists of 2 major vertical bays separated by a central tower. And Joanne Sullivan, who's behind the camera right now, typically takes still pictures, and I'm sure she will add a picture of the exterior to the Facebook page. The architect was Charles Hamilton, and he reportedly modeled the building after Engine House number 14 in Pittsburgh. So it had 2 side-by-side bays. One side accommodated the engine, and the other the hose carriage, allowing both to exit at the same time. I guess the prior firehouse had those in tandem, which slowed things down a bit. Also on the first level were 5.5 by 9 foot stalls for 4 horses. That would have been in the rear. The second floor had a dormitory, dressing room, bathroom, and water closets. And this was erected on a slow combustion plan. The cost of the building at the time was $6,597, which is the equivalent of about $183,000 now. It was built by Wilson and Chapman, and the Wilson of that name was W.A. Wilson, who lived at 504 Main Street, a beautiful house that was demolished a number of years ago, where the convenient market is, just north of here. The brickwork was begun in September 21st of 1891, and the final construction was done early in 1892. There's a big celebration, the firehouse band played, and so forth. The building stayed in use as a fire station until the new station, which is sort of across the street and down a bit, was built in 1976. The building next housed the Ogilvy Wood Carvers Guild for a time. Then the Firehouse Restaurant and Paisano's Restaurant. Some of us remember eating pizza here. Then it closed around 2005 and sat empty for a while until Crest Investments took it on. And at the top of Crest Investment is Chuck Wood, and Chuck will tell us a little bit more about the building as we walk around.
And also at the top is Vera Uehara and our son Margaret. And Crest Investment owns various buildings in Wheeling that old buildings, the youngest is almost this one, which we fix up and make rentable for people to live in decent condition at hopefully decent prices. And we have a crew of 3 or 4 workers who repair buildings and update them. And they've done most of the work here on the firehouse, including that magnificent oak door, 11-foot tall oak door made from scratch by one of our carpenters. It's really phenomenal. I wanted to start off by saying welcome back, because we had a tour here, Friends of Wheeling, 5 or 6 years ago, and we had the old stairs going up to the second floor that were over there. And I don't remember if we had the hole in the ceiling here, because when this was a restaurant, there was a big hole there, and right here was where the bar was. And people would sit up there in tables around the hole and throw food down. And so they ended up putting a fishing net across here to try to remove some of that problem. And so I was going to say, good to see you back again, because some of you were here, as Jean said, when this was a restaurant, Pisano's, or before that, the Firehouse, it was called. And the Firehouse was, from what I heard from people who lived here then, I don't know if you did in the early...
When was that?
About 2000...
Before 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lived here, but in Bethlehem, so I never came here.
Well, the neighbors got this place declared a public nuisance because they had a band that would play on the back. There was a little stage back there, and they were around. And drunken men would come outside and pee along the sidewalk and along the fronts of buildings. So it was indeed a public nuisance, and we hope none of that happens when it reopens as a bookstore. Maybe you can buy a book and tear a page out, but nothing else. We live right across the street, and all the time that we've lived there, the first thing you see in the morning, you open the door and you get out, is this beautiful old building decaying in place. It was abandoned when we moved here. Pisano's had just closed. We moved in 2005. And every day it would get worse shape. So we ended up making a horrible mistake. We bought it. And we bought it, it was still filled out, pointed as if it were a restaurant. And it turned out there was a fake floor that was about 18 inches above, a wooden floor that had mold and it had some termites in it. So we had to remove the floor. It had wood paneling along the walls. It was very nice and the same sort. It had 2 bathrooms back there nothing worked. So we had to totally demolish the interior of the building. We took out all the few walls that were here. We had to remove the wiring, the plumbing, everything. And so the long time we've owned this building, a lot of the time was spent trying to do that. The second thing we did, starting at the very beginning, which was difficult, was we needed to raise money to do this. And we put on a show of hands presentation in which I wrote the Music Man song, one of the main songs, slightly differently. It was, "Oh, you got trouble. You got trouble right here in River City, and that starts with T, and that rhymes with B, and that stands for books." And Jean and 6 or 7 other people were the chorus holding up books. And so I thought that was such a wonderful presentation, we won. And I thought everybody else, instead of standing up and saying, I'd like to get money so that I can fix up my little project, they would do something like we did. Nobody did. Nobody did. What a bunch of... Anyway, so we got, there was $4,000 in. Show of hands was just beginning. And the woman who announced that we had won said this had never happened before. But the second place team, they were only 1 point less than the winners. And so I immediately said, let's split the prize between the two. And so we got 2,000 and they got 2,000, and my son thought, my God, what is wrong with him? But they were the people who repair bicycles and give them to kids and folks who need them. So it was a good project for the city to have.
Can you walk us around a bit so we can see what your plans are?
I was going to after everybody started going like that. Yeah, yeah. We can walk around and then a little more talking later. This is going to be the foyer where you come in, and it's got a separate door here because upstairs is going to be 2 apartments, each 1,000 square feet, nice apartments. And again, our son says that's the only way we'll subsidize the bookstore down here, because it takes an awful lot of books to sell and croissants and whatnot to pay for all this. So
there's actually another floor even above this. What's the height of this ceiling?
This is, the door is 11 feet high, so the ceiling is about 12 feet high. Some places it's 13 because the floor is uneven. And what was I saying? Yeah, the second floor. There's a basement that has a low ceiling, and the basement has big concrete piers like that hold up stainless, well, I don't know if it's stainless steel beams that hold up a 16-inch thickness of concrete. And it was that thick because they had fire trucks in here, big heavy fire trucks.
And horses.
And horses back there. Yeah. Well, but they came out here when they had to leave. And I'd like to take you just outside for about 38 seconds and see something outside and see if you can tell me what's changed.
Sorry.
And this is our new dog. It's just 3 days old for us. If you stand here next to this pack rat thing, and oh, thank you, and look up, you can see the structure of the building. It's got 4 vertical lines that go up to the top, and it's very attractive brickwork. And does anybody see anything that looks strange in these? Pardon?
So we can hear.
Oh, blah, 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 blah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. You're right. What's happened is this tower, this column of bricks goes straight up all the way to the roof line. This one goes up to the end of this first floor, and then it's displaced from where it's above. And it turns out, I got some photographs in there I'll show you, that when the building was built, this tower was over here. And at some point, and the photos I have aren't dated, so I can't say when, but at some point, probably around 1920, they needed a wider opening for one of the fire trucks, and so they moved this column of bricks over. And this used to be the entrance. There was a door that size. So that's in all the things I've read about this and this registration and then historic register and whatnot. Nobody's mentioned that, but it's clearly what's been necessary. Now, if we go back in, we can walk around and see some of the rooms. These pillars that hold up, this one was moved over because it used to be, I'll show you. This is undated, but I think it's around 1915, and it was right below the one above it, just like this is.
Now it's not.
And This was taken in 45, but you see it's moved over.
Wow.
So at some point they got fatter fire trucks, bigger fire trucks, and they needed a wider entrance for them. I have these few photographs and some more from the history of the Wheeling Fire Department. It was published in the 1930s, I think. And I'm going to put them on the wall. I painted that wall fire engine red because that's going to be a wall that has tributes to the fire engine company that was here. And yesterday at a restaurant, somebody came up to Vera and said, "Are you Mrs. Wood?" And she's not. She doesn't have that name. But he said, I recognize your husband. I've never seen them. But it was David Wheeler, who was a fireman here in this fire station in the 1970s. And so he told me stories about it, and I was hoping he'd be here today so he could share those stories with everybody. Yeah.
And perhaps he'll see this online, and we will post this online. Probably be up by tomorrow, Sunday, the 3rd.
Good. Good. Yeah, thank you. So this room is going to be books, cases all along that wall. It's about 35 feet long, 7 shelves high, about 4,000 or 5,000 books there. And this space from here, in line with that wall, this is going to be a counter for the cafe that starts right here. So on this side of the cafe will be a cooking area with some heating materials and instruments. We're gonna have croissants that we bake fresh every day, bagels and soup and sandwiches and whatever else we can make. Coffee, espresso, and tea, health drinks, things like that. So we want people to be able to come in here and not just look for books and then leave, but come in here and sit down and talk to friends. In fact, we think of this as a third place. Do you know what third places are?
No, what's a third place?
It's a setup. The first place is where you live. The second place is where you work or where you go to school or your normal activity is. And the third place is some place where you can go and be around people, meet people casually, come and go as you please.
So you have seating here as well?
Yep. We're going to have, in fact, the front there, in front of that window, it's all covered up right now, because we got to get the floor clean so we can finish the floor. But that's a 18-foot long table, a counter, and you can sit there and look out the window and work. I hate to say this, but we're going to have wireless here, so you can work on your computer. But I really want to have, if somebody has an old, what do you call the digital handheld book? Kindle. Yeah, if somebody has an old Kindle that doesn't work, I'd be happy to receive it because a friend of mine has a shotgun and we would like to shoot it. Thank you. And then we're going to mount it on a plaque. And there's such a huge difference in the experience of reading a physical book that you can touch it, you can smell it, you can enjoy the cover, read the back. I mean, books are marvelous things that have been around for a couple of thousand years, one way or another. And we're replacing them with things that you can't put on a bookshelf when you're done. We moved, to start the bookstore here, we moved 1,000 books from our house. I mean, it's wonderful to have books that you can go back to and read again, or you can just say, wow, it's really lovely to own that book because it's such a wonderful use of language. So, I want to have wireless in here just because a lot of people access things on it. But I really don't want people to sit over there and do their homework with AI. I want them to look at books, read books, buy books, and have something to drink, have something to sip on. And it's ironic that we're going to have this espresso, an expensive espresso machine, and all sorts of fancy things you put in espresso coffee. And neither Vera or I drink coffee. We know nothing about it. So if you know somebody who would like a part-time job, we have an opening. So this is this is the cafe. Back there is where the heavy appliances will be, and the dishwasher and everything. This is a 72-foot long center way that's marked by these arches. And we're going to paint this. The floor is going to be painted. It's going to be yellow. So it's a yellow brick road, that goes down the whole length of the building, 72 feet. And then the rest of the floor, I'm trying to think of a paint color that doesn't look industrial. You know, like if you have gray, like a lot of floors are, they look industrial. You look like a supermarket or something. I'm thinking of purple. And I'm thinking that maybe a color I would get tired of in about a week and a half. So we'll figure out what's going to happen there. There will be little tables here on the other side of there for people to sit and eat and read. There will be bookcases on this side facing this way. And down here, more bookcases. And this is going to be a stage. One of our neighbors up the street, Sherry Wisba, husband, Fred, loved music. He unfortunately died in an accident some years ago, and Sherry has contributed some funds to name this stage after him, so the Fred Wisba stage. And we built these cabinets here so we have spaces to put microphones or speakers or whatever. We have a place up there where we're going to have a light that shoots down here. And the idea is to have music, poetry readings, author events, I don't want to say debates, but discussions about different points of view. And these bookcases right here, we just bought from Mary Beth Hughes, who's closing her shop. Her shop is officially closed yesterday, and we bought 12 bookcases from her, and we've put them up there out of the way so that we can clean this floor and paint the floor, and then they will be along this wall. And then this is where the floor steps down 18 inches, and we put this little ramp here, and this is where the horses were kept. There's one of the historic features of this place is that the horses had to do their business. After eating and drinking, they left their refuse here, and so there was channels in the cement floor that went all around here to take it so that I guess the firemen could use a hose to wash it all down the drain. So we left one piece of that right here. It's underneath here. And we're going to paint where the other places were so you can see. And back there's an official part of it left. This is going to be the children's nook. And the idea is that there's no door here, and this is a big window open space, so that if there are parents outside looking at books over there, they can see through here easily to see that their kids are okay.
But no horses.
No horses. Although we just had from Mary Beth Hughes, we just got a wooden pony. So we may have a horse. This is the one bathroom we have. It's a bathroom for everybody. This is sort of a meeting room. The idea that we want people to come in here and book clubs to hold their meetings. I'd like the Cub Scouts to come and have their meetings in here. I'd like all sorts of folks to use the space. My thought is the use would be free, but hopefully you'll buy something to eat. Come on in. This is going to be what I consider sort of like one of those English clubs where you see this plush furniture and men smoking their cigars and having their brandy. We won't have cigars or brandy. But But we will have some nice soft furniture, comfortable furniture, bookcases all the way around. And this is one of the places, the drains. We left this in place because we're using it to drain from outside to go down. We want to have a carpet in here. Most places we're not having carpets because you don't want people to trip. So we'll have a carpet in here and have it anchored to the floor. We want to have, I keep saying, these soft chairs everywhere, except we don't have them. So if anybody wants to donate any chairs they finished using, that would be welcome. Another thing I'd like to do is to show old classic movies, mostly black and white movies. It turns out you have to pay $200 to show a movie, even if you own the video yourself, even if it's beyond the 75 years for the, trademark, thanks. Yeah, you still have to pay $200. So I'm looking to see if I can find some place to get $200 at least once a month to do this. And we have the fire department has looked at our facility here and say we have an occupancy of 40 people. So if we got 40 people every time we charge $5 to see a movie, that would work out. But I don't think we'll get 40 people every time. So I'm looking for sponsors for that. But in general, I think of this place as a community sort of center. It's meant to be a for-profit bookstore and cafe. But it's really because we live right across the street and we want to see it used. It's a historic building, and it's wonderful to save it. And if you're interested in the color, this is British racing green that the British sports cars used to use.
So you have those stockings up so high, what do you purpose for those?
In case we get into those really tall basketball players, because we have such high ceilings, we thought that we would have different types of things on display. For example, I'd like to have paintings and artwork on display and have openings, just like other places do.
That's a neat idea.
So we want to have illumination if we have any things that are big enough that we can put them that high. We have a lot of wall space here, so both up tile and down lower, so we want to use it that way. We want this to be the place that everybody says, hey, let's go down to the Vigilant Books and Coffee. And
Can we go outside?
can we go outside? Yes. Turns out that's where they used to drop the hay down. They had a crane that would drop the hay down to bring into the horses here. And when we bought this place, that was where a wooden shack was that had the kitchen for the restaurants that were here. And upstairs was, maybe Thad or somebody knows what happened upstairs, but it looked like it was something suspicious.
I think there was some entertainment up there.
Yeah. Okay. So that building was collapsing. Hey, that building was collapsing when we bought it, so we had to tear that down and remove it. So we built this beautiful door. One of our carpenters built this from scratch. And come on out.
It's an amazing
They have
wall.
spectacular doors.
We used to come here and eat.
Yeah,
The firehouse.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was in Wheeling at the time, but I came to Wheeling in 1979.
Oh, yeah.
I lived in Bethlehem,
Yeah, that's,
in Elm Grove and in Bethlehem. So but I knew it was here. I still remember when they redid the sidewalks. They had like that awful guardrail.
yeah, I saw pictures of that. Good.
I remember that, Austin.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
hopefully this reminds you of what the what's the place downtown, the restaurant downtown that has the yeah, it reminds you of Later Gator. They have a beautiful patio outside. This patio is not quite beautiful because it has deteriorating houses just beyond the fence. But we we want to change this into an outdoor patio, and you have a patio too, don't you?
That's later.
Yeah. Duh. What is the name of that place? I can't remember.
Later alligator. Yeah.
Dating. Yeah. We built this additional brick along here, and the goal is to finish this so it's smooth down here, have potted plants, have vines growing down, so that this is a pleasant place. And a fountain, and I am an astronomer, and so this is a perfect place to put a telescope in the middle and see whatever's straight up. You can't see what's on the horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just going to say, yeah, a BB gun would take care of it. So, please, comments, questions, ideas?
There's a big circle in the middle of the floor down there. What is that? That big, you can see it etched in the... It is where the fire pole came down? Is that?
Well, the fire pole circle's only this size. It's that big, and it was right near the front. Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned before when the first couple of people came that I'd like to replace the fire pole, which is missing, with another one, and then paint the circle there where you could see where the firemen would come down and land and get in the trucks. And then I want to paint a black circle on the above and have the bottom half of a mannequin dressed in fire boots and pants, and glued up to the ceiling.
That would be cute.
Now, will you be accepting books for people that have?
The question is, will Chuck be accepting books?
Yeah, and
What are your thoughts on that?
I didn't know anything about running a business. I've always been a university type person or working for NASA. And so I started a small bookstore on Market Street for a couple of years. And I found out that people would come to sell books, and I can't buy books, so you have to have income, and if you're going to spend it to buy books. And so they wanted to donate them, and I found that many of the books they had were wonderful, and other people would be interested in, and a lot of others were not ones that I had a history of being able to sell. And so I will be happy to look at books and accept ones I think I can use.
That's fair.
And to have suggestions on how you can get rid of the ones I don't want. For example, the jail across the river,
Yeah,
they
will take them.
yeah, they only take
History.
paperbacks.
Yeah, and they want like history, mainly, is what we were told.
Oh,
History
Yeah,
books and so forth for the jail.
Yeah.
yeah, they don't want hardbound because you could have
Yeah, you
something
do.
inside
Yeah.
between the hard covers.
Yeah.
All right. Chuck, thank you very much. We really appreciate this. I am going to turn this around and sign off, and then we'll have time for the rest of us to ask some more questions. So again, this is Friends of Wheeling. I'm Jean Finstein. Welcome to our tour today, and goodbye.